We just got back from Wondercon Anaheim. It was a great time. We have a complete wrap up here of all the panels, all the parties, all the lots of toys, the cosplay. Plus, we have some Walking Dead goodness for you tonight. We have some very special guests tonight on the Con Guy Show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's The Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show.
That's awesome. Welcome to the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. This is our special Walking Dead themed episode tonight. Because Ben's a Walking Dead. No, tonight we have some very special guests tonight. I'll let them introduce themselves, but you will have probably seen them last week on Chris Hardwick's Talking Dead. They are the ultimate fans. They won the contest, and we have them with us tonight. We are so excited to have them. My name is Jim. I am the managing editor of theconguy.com. You can find me online on Twitter at ConGuyJim or theconguy.com, theconguy.com. Who do we have next to me?
I'm Ben Kliewer, actor, writer, comedian, future contributor to theconguy.com. That's at Ben Kliewer.
When he wants to.
We keep on begging him.
BenKliewer. It's very weird.
And here's our special guest tonight. Who do we have next to Ben?
Jill Roby, writer from Chicago, and you can find all of my social media handles at houseoffangirl.com.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Orban Griggs, social media marketer by day, uber nerd by night, and my Twitter handle is Brandon at KOG.
All right.
And I'm Luke Cheeseman, also known as Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on Twitter at ConGuyLuke and also on theconguy.com and thescareguy.com. And who do we have here?
My name is Jake.
Pull that jacket open, Jake.
Oh,
Jake.
Yeah,
what's
look
he
at
wearing?
that.
Look at that shirt.
Representing the V-neck.
Yeah, that's right. I do some toy unboxing for theconguy.com, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
We're super stoked to have Jake with us tonight as well. This is his first time with us, and on our website, he does our unboxing videos for us. He's been doing some awesome Star Wars unboxing for us recently, and he's done some movie reviews for us coming up. Jake, what are the movie reviews we're going to be looking forward to?
So far, my friend Joel and I from Columbus, we've done some early attempts, Marvel attempts at making the movie. So like the 1990 Captain America, the 1994 Roger Corman Fantastic Four.
So some high quality
Yeah.
cinema.
It's awesome. I can't wait.
Stuff that's not good when you watch now, but I have fond memories of as a child.
Sure.
At the time, it was like, that's all you got. So it's like, this is awesome.
So basically, we're doing our own version of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There you go.
That's so great that you have right there. And although she's not going to be on camera with us tonight, just to prove that not all nerds can't get a date, Jake's wife, lovely wife, is with us tonight as well. So thank you for being here. All right, guys. I want to jump right into talking with our special guest today. And Jill and Brandon, so glad for you guys to be here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, Luke, can you kind of explain like how you met Jill, how we came about having them on the show tonight?
Sure. It was Stanley Comic-Con.
There's a picture up on screen right now when you guys met. All right.
Right there. So, yeah, we were at Stanley Comic-Con, saw each other in cosplay, got a picture, just it was an awesome Michonne. You just don't see one better, and had to get it. I was dressed as Abraham.
I thought that's who you were. I thought it was the actress who plays Michonne was there at the.
And I'd call myself a very rare Abraham. I mean, who walks around with a bat on their head? It was something I came up with, so I feel like it was decent.
So that was at San Diego, right?
No,
the Stanley Comic-Con.
Oh, okay.
That was Los Angeles.
Was that before the premiere where you knew Abraham?
That was after.
This was after, although I was doing it at Comic-Con, which was my guess, and people were walking by me, they're like, no, tell me it's not true. And I'm just like, it's just my guess. And then some people even at Scare LA were going around like, I heard that it might be Abraham and Glenn. Actually, the two of them might die, but didn't really think that would happen, but it actually did.
So he did that at San Diego, and then my brother, who has just got into Walking Dead, saw the images of him at San Diego, was like, so he had to have had some kind of inside tip and knew, like, before that.
Well, the con guy opens doors.
He actually didn't you? Your first time doing this was at Long Beach Fan Expo last spring. Was it?
Was it?
No, because
I feel like the first time I did it, well, I wore it to the Comic-Con pre-party.
The pre-party.
I think that was the first time I did it and stuff. So, anyways,
How did you do that? Just out of curiosity. How did you stick that thing on your head like that?
So it's a wiffle ball bat I bought at Party City, and then I basically bought a Sharpie and colored it brown, so it kind of had that wood texture look to it. And then they also had this party decoration stuff, so I cut the stars off of it and then wrapped it around and actually taped it with Scotch tape.
That's
and then they had
elaborate.
this headband that I actually bought too that had these little notches in it, and I thought I was gonna have to glue it, but I cut such a fine hole that like I was able to just put the headband little things into it, and I didn't even have to glue it or anything, and it
The
just
thing that was
stays in
really
your head
cool
with the headband.
And what's interesting
Yeah.
is like I remember you showed up at San Diego Comic-Con and could not go into the convention because that was considered a weapon.
Because it was a wiffle ball bat.
Really?
It needs to be foam. Yeah.
Although if you went inside the
Oh,
convention,
man.
you could buy those bats. So
Yeah.
it's like go figure. So let's
Scam.
Let's get to your story. We just last week you guys appeared on Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick. How was that? What was that experience like?
Oh, that was. I mean, they treated us like any other celebrity guest they would have had. So like personal cars and Four Seasons and like the whole
Seriously?
nine. Yeah.
It was basically like I would say
Lobster
the
and steak.
grand prize was essentially being treated like a celebrity for like 2 days.
Awesome.
The exact same services we at Con Guy provided
Yeah.
for this show.
Yeah,
We sent the bike out to get them.
yeah.
The wagon.
It was it actually by far exceeded my expectations. It was an unbelievable experience.
Now, for those who don't know, can you tell us kind of like your story? Like, where did you guys meet, and how did you come to become Michonne and Rick?
You know what? I started this cosplay initially. I was at San Diego Comic-Con last year as well, and I wanted to ask this politically driven question, and I was concerned about being thrown out of the Hall H. So I was like, well, if I'm dressed as Michonne, maybe that might give me a little bit more time. And that's when I started kind of piecing it together, but people really responded to it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll keep it going. And for the season premiere, it was literally like 4 blocks from where I worked at the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And I didn't win. I voted you did the email thing or whatever to win the contest. And,
to get into like the season
to get into
opening?
Yeah, there was like a raffle thing, like an email raffle thing to get a ticket to go and see the premiere at Hollywood Forever.
Okay.
I didn't win.
Yeah?
No, I didn't win, but I was like, I can't
Spoilers.
be that close to it, and not go. So I was like, I'll just show up as Michonne again, and I'll find someone to go in with, and that's what I did. I scoped out the line, and I saw one guy who was clearly not with anyone else, and he happened to have an extra ticket, and that's how I got in.
What a loser.
She preyed upon like some
No,
dude
no,
who was
I-
like in line
I
who
had
had
a
been
plan.
bailed out on by his date because they gave you like a +1 if you won the
Oh, this
thing.
was this you?
No, this wasn't me.
Oh,
I thought it was you.
I got really lucky and won a ticket like 4 days prior and was there just inconsequentially. I hadn't met her yet, so
Well, that's how I got in.
yeah. So she like broke in basically.
No,
She like
I was very crafty, and I had a plan.
We
and
would
I planned
expect
it.
anything less from Michonne, let's tell you what.
It was more of a heist than a break-in.
yeah. But so what happened was once she got inside, I've been dressing as Rick for
There's
like
a picture
3
of you
years.
guys. They just showed a picture, by the way, of you guys.
yeah.
So,
the
so
night you guys
her,
went.
yeah, I'm glad that it's that picture too. So that Andrea cosplayer, she came and like got me out of my seat because they had just told everyone like sit down and shut up. The opposite's about to come down or come on and don't cause any disruption. And then she's like, oh, you have to go and take a picture of this amazing Michonne cosplayer. And I went over and to meet her essentially, and these people started cheering, and somehow a line formed to take photos with us, and we ended up hanging out for the rest of the night and been dating ever since. So
Everything slowed down, and Chicago started playing in the background.
exactly, and it's kind of like that, yeah.
And then you go on The Talking Dead this past week, and Chris Hardwick in true Chris Hardwick form. What was the offer he gave you guys?
That he would marry us on the show. Listen,
He said it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he really wanted that.
He was really pushing
wants
it.
to pay for anything, ever, it would be hard to say no to that for sure.
Yeah,
Well, the man just got married, so he's got it on the brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think he
4 months
had
ago.
a Walking Dead themed wedding, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Rick and Michonne.
Yeah, I
let's get
think.
top
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
His
sure.
best man
that
was Rick
he-
Grimes
yeah,
cosplay. Yeah.
As a Star Wars nerd, I loved that the fact that his ring bearer was R5D4.
Really?
Really? He was trying to get
believe it.
Mark
That's
Hamill
awesome.
to
Yeah.
come to his wedding.
He tried to get him to come. The whole idea was he's going to have R5D4 come to halfway down the aisle and then break down before he could get the rings to him. And then Mark Hamill would run out and be like, "This droid's defective. It's got a bad motor bit." Yeah.
It's
He
hilarious.
can arrange some stuff for you. So, you guys have been. So we've seen. sorry, tonight's the first time I've met you, Brandon. But like, I've seen you at a couple. We just met this past weekend at the Wondercon, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then, you guys met at the Stan Lee's Comic Con.
Stan Lee Comic Con.
So, what kind of following do you have? Do people really? They seem to really love what you guys are doing here.
Well, it's interesting at WonderCon. A few people did recognize me from the show, but mostly people just responded to the cosplay, like, "Oh my god!" like teary-eyed, like "Can I hug you?" And then that's totally cool. It's totally fine, but like they just really respond to the cosplay, not necessarily me. So I mean, I love it. I think it's great.
Michelle's one of the best characters on television, and you guys have a hashtag that I saw. That you want to talk about that?
Oh, RL Rashon.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I can't remember who did that. But yeah,
It wasn't me.
No, like just real life Rashon, basically.
Yeah.
R.L. Rashon.
That's pretty
That's hilarious.
All right.
Really
Does
for
anybody have
sure.
any questions? We're going to move on just a second. We're so glad you guys are here tonight because we are going to talk about the season finale of Walking Dead, which just aired last night.
And you mentioned your mom was dressed as Carl.
Oh, yeah.
On the show.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, my mom was there at the season 7 premiere because like I didn't get the ticket until like 2 days prior, and you had a +1. And I was like, well, my mom's the only person who likes the show as much as me, so I'll take my mom. And so my mom was like there as Carl.
How did that happen?
She had like a meat poncho on from season 6.
You mean Coral?
Carl.
Did she pick the Carl outfit, or did you suggest
Yeah,
it? Or?
actually, she wanted to go as a walker originally, but I guess like Hollywood Forever didn't want us to dress like zombies.
Well,
Really?
that's they have plenty of them there.
Because they have
Yeah,
plenty
so-
of them underneath.
Oh, that'd
the
be
grate, yeah.
disrespectful.
I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, she went as Carl, but she'll be a zombie this year at
Wait, so I
San
gotta
Diego
ask.
Comic Con.
So she's a big fan of the show.
Yes, she's a huge fan of the show.
So is she a big fan of Jill?
She's a big fan of Jill.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
She was the one who was very insistent that we go out, so she was very pro.
She's like, you guys want to grab a drink later,
You
right?
have to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody,
Really
any other
weird way
questions?
to like have. Most of the time, you're worried about like introducing them to your mom, and it's like I met her, like at the same time as my mom was there, so
Nice.
it's
Hey,
very
si-
unusual.
Since you've been on the show with Chris Hardwick, do people recognize you? Do you have people
yeah.
stop you early?
Yeah.
You were saying
She-
something about you didn't realize how big of a show it was, right?
I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew how many like millions of people watched the show, but I didn't think that anybody was going to recognize me outside of cosplay. But then in like San Diego on Sunday at a birthday party, like a random person came up to me at a bar and was like, "Were you on Talking Dead?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah." Oh my God, this is crazy. That many people saw me on national TV. So.
Have you
Cool.
guys ever done any other cosplay besides Walking Dead?
Yeah, I've done Maleficent and
Oh,
Harley
cool.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yas Queen.
No, for me, actually. And the thing that's so sad about that is because I've been going to Comic-Con since I was 6 years old. Like,
Oh,
my
God,
mom started
really?
taking me when I was 6 years old, and I never dressed up
We gotta
until like
meet your mom.
three
Yeah,
years
she's really
ago. It was the
awesome.
first time I had ever dressed up, and I was like, oh, what have I been missing out on? It's so much
Right.
better when you have a costume. So,
Oh, we have some ideas for some other. Can I say what I want?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him to be Wolverine to my storm.
Nice.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
be
that
so
works.
great. Yeah.
That'd be good.
It's hard for me to see you guys other than Michonne and Rick right now, though, because you just like, it's perfect. It's like the perfect cosplay. So,
I will not disagree with that.
all right. Oh, you didn't bring your swords tonight, though.
Oh.
sorry.
All right.
All right, so we are going to move on just a little bit here. We're gonna, guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You don't know how
Thanks for
much we
having us.
do
Yeah,
appreciate this, especially the day after the season finale of Walking Dead. So we're gonna talk about that. First, though, let me move this over here. By the way, this is the official tiki mug from WonderCon that we got yesterday. It's so great.
And it sold out yesterday, so it's a big hit, and they definitely sounded like they're going to have more each year, and it's going to be a unique one the following year as well. So
I
definitely
love-
something.
It sold out. I didn't know that.
I
Yeah, I
love
did.
tiki mugs, and I was thinking of
I
getting
do.
that one, but it was $27, and I was like,
$26.95.
Well, I've recently
well,
learned
that
how to
makes an
make tiki
difference.
drinks, so that kind of
Wait,
got me to do it.
So Luke has been experimenting with tiki drinks. Let's just say that everybody passes out after 2 drinks. This is all- he's making them
so
well.
he's doing them right.
He's doing it
Yeah.
right. Hey Ben, can you go ahead and take us? We got a lot of get off your phone, man. We got some.
I'm a busy man. I got business to
we,
attend to.
we got some conventions coming up. Let everybody know what's going on.
Oh, yes, sorry.
This is
Yeah,
this
so
is
we
your
got
part.
the bulletin board. We got Monsterpalooza coming up in Pasadena next weekend. That's April 7th. If you are an enthusiast in the horror genre or makeup tutorials, I actually know a couple people that do makeup tutorials and that sort of thing. That'll be a lot of fun out here in Southern California. Marble City Comic-Con, Knoxville, Tennessee, April 8 and 9, also next weekend. So if you're over there in the shallow South, it was Tennessee, not the deep, but the shallow South. I don't know.
Gosh, I've never heard that.
I just
I
made it
used
up
to
right
live in
now.
Tennessee. It was just Tennessee.
It's just Tennessee. Well, it's part of the South. So
it
if
is.
you're out there next weekend, be sure and check that one out. Star Wars Celebration. I've not heard of this one before. I'm not familiar with it, but apparently it's some sort of science fiction franchise. That's April 13 through 16
And
out in Orlando.
Next Tuesday, we will be doing a Star Wars Celebration themed.
It's because you're wearing a Star Trek shirt. That's
I'm
why
wearing
you're
a Star
not aware
Trek
of
shirt
it.
right now and my Stormtrooper ring from Han Cholo. That's an actual jewelry maker. He's awesome.
And a Darth Vader pen up there. You got all sorts of crazy
I got
stuff.
it all. The Force is strong with this one.
Yes, yes it is.
I'm a nerd. C2E2 in Chicago, April 21st through
I'll be there.
23rd.
You're going to see 2E2?
Yeah.
She will be there.
They asked me to do like an interview thing or something. I think it's going to be on Saturday.
Nice.
Awesome.
Oh, this thing's paying off for you. That's awesome.
The nerd community is so great. I love it.
Yeah, it really is.
Silicon Valley Comic Con, April 21st through 23rd, at the same time as C2E2. Central Ohio Con in Columbus.
You should go, Jake. It's where you live.
Oh, yeah, Jake's from Ohio.
Jake's
You're
going.
not from Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio, exactly.
Yeah, Columbus, Ohio, April 22 through 23rd. And ID10T, the aforementioned Chris Hardwick's ID10T Fest.
It looks like it says Idiot Fest.
ID10T looks like the word idiot. I think that was probably done on purpose. Shoreline, Silicon Valley, June 24th through 15. That doesn't make sense. 25th, I would
it's
assume.
25. That's a typo. It's not going back in time.
Chris Hardwick's Comic-Con and Music Festival. Weezer, Girl Talk, TV on the Radio, Jonah Ray, who actually my buddy... I was walking up to see my buddy, and I see him at WonderCon this week, and I see him like talking to Jonah Ray, and then shake his hand, and Jonah Ray walked off, and I walked up to my buddy John Carlos, and I'm like, "You touched Jonah Ray, so now I have to touch you." Like,
You know, I just think though this is one of the coolest ideas for for a Comic-Con. Chris Hardwick has taken Comic-Con, he's taken comic culture, he's taken comedians, and he's taken. So it's like Comic-Con during the day, cool music festival at night. It doesn't get better than that. I think it's a great
It sounds
idea.
awesome. I heard him announce it on like the Nerdist podcast a couple weeks ago. So
So he's basically taking all the money.
yeah.
He's sucking it all
brilliant.
out of the room.
I mean, you
the
know,
best of all the
He's
worlds.
the new Ryan Seacrest.
you got to hand it to him. They call him Nerd
Right.
Seacrest.
Nerd Seacrest.
I can see that. Makes
Hashtag.
sense.
So.
So I'd love to go to that. It's there's something else I'm doing that weekend, but I know what I'm doing that weekend. What am I doing that weekend?
Tom Petty and
I'm going to-
Mumford and Son. There's a Pasadena.
There's a Pasadena Ray
concert
Seiko.
going on. Weezer, and Weezer's at that one too. So
We-
I guess they're going to be there on Saturday, and then Sunday they're coming over to Pasadena to do a concert with Mumford and Sons.
We're not officially sponsoring that one, but the other
Yeah.
Idiot
But
Fest.
go to Chris's.
Go to Chris's,
Go to
yeah.
Chris and Nerdist. We didn't know about it. Chris, I'm sorry.
And just real quick, this coming Saturday, April 8th, this is open registration for San Diego Comic-Con. It's going to be a very happy and sad day for so many people. Do you guys have your passes yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so you guys are in. So we don't have to wait through the tribulation of this Saturday.
Right.
Get into the waiting room a little bit after 8. It opens up at 9 o'clock. You'll be stuck in. You'll be in a waiting room until they place you in. It's just like they did all the other phases of registration. If at all possible, have groups of people that are trying to do it together, because once you get in, you can buy for yourself, and you can buy for 3 passes, I think is what it is. So you're a lot more successful if you buy in groups. If somebody in your group gets in first, they can get for everybody. So that's my piece of advice. Does anyone have any advice for this? Use the bathroom before you go, right?
Yeah. Well, once it pops up and it's your turn. Sorry, did I interrupt somebody? I
Yes, you
apologize.
did.
Oh, I'm a turd. Well, I was. Go ahead. Whoever.
No,
I was just kidding. I was just messing with you.
Okay. Well, once you get in, you do have like 10 or 15 minutes or something to finish your registration. So you do have a little bit of time if
you don't have to speed through it. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to speed through it. You can take the necessary steps, but yeah, don't freak out about it. And it's just if you get in, you get in. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
So.
I I'd just say work in teams, work with groups.
Yeah.
So if someone else can get a ticket, and then they can. Like, how many tickets can you buy if you get in the room?
3.
3 extra. Well, yeah. So
3 total or 3 plus yourself?
Gosh, I wish I knew the answer to that. Why are you
I think
asking?
it might be 3.
Con guy, my left toe.
I know. I think it's 3. I think it's 3 total.
Oh yeah, work with the group for sure.
I was just gonna say to add to that, make sure you don't make the mistake of like all 3 people that are in your group being on the same IP address.
Oh, that's right.
Because that only counts as one. So you need somebody who's like at 3 different complete physical locations for you to have like 3, more chances of actually getting in and being able to buy for everybody.
Yep.
So.
And I think you have to have their member ID to buy for them. So make sure you have
Yes.
everybody's member ID.
You have to have
in front of you.
every piece of information about them and their entire soul and like history.
So you've been going since age 6, right?
Yes.
So he knows everything about getting into Comic-Con.
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, it's such a thing. It's such a I was hearing.
It used to be so simple. You used to just buy your tickets there for the next year, and then you didn't worry about it until next year, and then you showed up. Not so
2008
much.
or 2009 is when Twilight showed up.
Oh God.
That's changed.
Yeah.
It's a CG. 2008, I drove down on Saturday. I keep on saying the story. Went down to Saturday. It was so cool. I decided to stay for Sunday and bought a ticket for the next day. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The next year, everything changed.
Yeah.
Hey, and then also early bird registration for early bird hotel sale is open right now. So there are 11 hotels in Mission Valley in the airport area. They're all on the shuttle route for San Diego Comic-Con. So if you want to go ahead and secure your hotel, go ahead and get it now. But you have to pay up front. Make sure you have a badge. I'm doing it again. Here's the camera. All right. So make sure you have a badge before you buy, because these are non-refundable. You have to buy the whole thing up front. That's all the news we got this week, because we are going to move into one. Does anyone have any other Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con stuff going on right now?
Let's get
So
into
Are you guys
Wondercon.
going?
Yeah.
All right.
Hell
all right.
yeah.
Nice.
This is going to be the greatest Comic-Con of
Who
my
are you?
life.
Have you been here the last 20 minutes? Of course they're going. They're going to roll up in a limo, and everybody's going to roll out the red carpet for them.
If like the last 3 years of going just with the normal cosplay were fun, I would imagine it's going to be downright insane this year. Like after getting like exposure and
You guys are going to be celebrities this year.
it's going to be nuts. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
And if I walk up to you, are you going to be like, get away from me?
Who are you?
I'll clear the way for you.
Oh, well, thank
Wait, I do have to ask the question though. What was your question in Hall H that you were afraid of?
It's online. It's on a YouTube video. somewhere.
It is online. Just like a quick summary of it was, I asked, did they intentionally make a political statement with having Michelle Nesrick's love interest? Essentially, was what I asked, and I made sure I was the first question. I was the first person up, and I was rushing through it because I was pretty sure they were gonna turn off the lights and have security escort me out of Hall H, but none of that happened. It worked out pretty good.
What'd they say?
Oh, they were really pleased with it. Gimple and Chris, they were excited about the question.
She's downplaying it. Scott Gimple literally said to her, in the middle of Hall H, he was like, that was such a good question. What an amazing way to start this off, which was the biggest compliment I think he's ever paid to any fan ever for a question like that. So, yeah,
Well, I'm a writer.
they loved
so
it.
All right.
it.
That's nice. That's awesome. Have you asked a question in Hall H before? You asked. It was Ballroom 20.
Yeah, it's the
I know.
Indiegogo room.
So this
where I
past
ask questions.
this past weekend, we just experienced
After the happy hour.
after a very long happy hour. It was a great question. I don't remember the question.
9 Manhattans. Anyway.
So this last weekend was Wondercon, which I don't know if anybody noticed, but they had another name for it. They were putting out in tweets. They were calling it what? Anaheim Comic-Con with the hyphen. So they're kind of using both tags right now, which is kind of weird. I was reading about this earlier today that they said, oh, well, it's just interchangeable. They're trying to identify it closer with Comic-Con. So, because for people that don't know, WonderCon it's part of the same organization as San Diego Comic-Con International. They put on both conventions. And let me tell you, these conventions are a step above most conventions you're going to go to. They are so good. The programming cannot be beat. There's so much programming going on. The floor is just so expansive. And Jake, you went to, I don't name because we don't want to, disparage anybody, but you went to another one and you just said that this one just kind of was just a different experience, right?
This one was definitely way bigger. I've been to comic book conventions in Ohio, but they weren't anywhere near this scale. So I haven't been to San Diego, but it seems like from everything I've seen, San Diego Comic-Con is much more, I guess, film, TV related, whereas WonderCon to me felt much more comic related. It's all comic artists and writers and this and that. Even though they still had a few film people there. We went to like the Goldberg's panel, with the TV show, and a couple different things. But I guess it just seemed much more focused on the comic aspect of it.
Wow, you are voicing an opinion that is not common right now.
Yeah, most people are like, it's too Hollywood.
Everyone else complains about how Hollywood has become.
Really?
So,
Really?
yeah.
Well, I was talking to my mom on the phone on the way here, and I was telling her about WonderCon, and she's never been into anything remotely close to popular culture, really. And I was saying, they used to be comic book conventions where I'm sure you remember.
That's how it was when I. Yeah, that's exactly the way it was when I first started going.
Exactly. You trade some comics, you buy some comics, you sell some comics.
The whole floor was just comics.
Yeah,
basically.
And now it's just they've become more popular culture conventions rather than comic books.
But there's still a massive place on the floor for comics.
Exactly.
It's just like kind of over there on the other side.
My key thing that I picked up at WonderCon this year was I picked up a copy of the What If series, Stan Lee's Batman, where Stan Lee took a crack at. He did a few DC superheroes that he did his own version of it, and so Batman is obviously part Bat and that sort of thing. So I like those kind of weird crossovers. So.
It's an
Do you
interesting
say you
one.
got that this year at WonderCon?
That's what I got this year. Yeah, that was my find because I was looking for just anything that was DC Marvel crossover, and he's like, "Well, I don't have the thing you're looking for. I was looking for JLA Avengers books 1 and 3 because I have 2 and 4." And he's like, "Well, I don't have that, but I do have Stan Lee's Batman." I was like, "I'll take it."
I gotta tell you, I was pretty impressed with the representation of comic book publishers and people selling comic books on the floor this year.
This is my first time in WonderCon.
Oh, yeah?
The noticeable difference is in terms of like the dealer room anyway. Like usually the comics and also like the artists, like they're usually pushed way in the back, and you kind of don't want to go there. It's like kind of like a
The lights are
sad,
blinking.
shady place.
I just got a question. What are they like WonderCon? I'm talking about in terms of like action figures. Is there a
Well,
It's just kind
this
of
guy here knows a
He'll
lot
be able
about
to tell us.
it.
We're
I'm
gonna
just curious because like I'm really into figurines and like I feel like San Diego Comic-Con has a good scene with that, but I have nothing to compare it to because I've never been to any other comic conventions.
Right. They had a pretty good selection there. I mean, a lot of vendors had all types of stuff, vintage, modern stuff. I'm a big Star Wars collector.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Wait, in just a second.
We'll get to that.
We're gonna get in just a second. He's gonna show us what he picked up. But you were saying that Jill.
Yes.
I am the world's worst with
You, that one over there.
Person over on the other side. No, you were talking about the comic representation of the floor that you thought it was pretty well done this year.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to all kinds of. I've been across the country to different conventions and different companies beyond Comic-Con International, and usually they have like it's like kind of partitioned off. It's just kind of separate, and like you don't want to go like to an artist alley. Like I don't know, like this seems more integrated. And WonderCon is definitely more low key than like San Diego Comic-Con is a stress ball.
Yeah,
it's just
It's nuts.
you're not gonna
just
get any
nuts.
sleep. You can't do anything.
You said it.
So, what are some of the panels on? Let's start on Friday. What are some of the Friday panels? Well,
Let's just talk overall.
let's just
We
talk
don't have a lot
overall
of
because I
time,
don't know
so.
what day they were on. Yes, but what were some of the panels that people were enjoying? Cheeseman on the couch. Tell me a panel you liked.
Well, Boom Comics is always good. We like those people. We went there on Friday. Check that out. We went to Star Wars 50. That was pretty cool.
Star Wars, Star Trek.
Star
Trek
Trek
50.
Star Trek 50.
Star
your
Trek
your
50.
shirt's just throwing me off.
I know.
Man. I'm so confused right now. But yeah, that was great. Warner Brothers was cool. Patty Jenkins, the director, was there, which was cool because I saw
were you
her on
there?
the floor. Like I saw a big group of Wonder Woman cosplayers all together. There's like a bunch of them and stuff. And they're like, we're about to bring out a special guest, and it was Patty Jenkins, and she took some photos. You can check it out on our Twitter feed and also on our website.
It was all
we
over
have some
Instagram,
video
too.
Yeah, it was.
It was awesome. She was
pretty
down on the
cool.
floor with all these Wonder Woman cosplayers, and she, like you said, she gave a
Yeah.
pretty good presentation. And their version of Hall H was the arena.
And she gave away 5 tickets to the premiere to some of the cosplayers as well, which was pretty cool. So that's why they were there.
I should have been dressed as Wonder Woman.
There's me promoting our shirt among
A group
some
of Wonder
Batman
Woman cosplayers.
and,
That sounds like
Superman
some twisted nerd fantasy that you would expect to hear.
I tell you what, I think it's going to be the big cosplay of the year.
I believe it.
And I'll
Totally
tell you
believe
what,
it.
a buddy of mine who works in the industry. He works for a major film company, and he's a writer, and he's involved at some of the upper levels. He said he saw an early screening of Wonder Woman, and he said it's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
he
excited.
really liked it, which I'm very happy to hear.
They showed a really
because
good-
he's really critical of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
They showed a
And
good clip from it.
Yeah, and they also talked about how Chris Pine's character is more like an Indiana Jones, so it's kind of like you got Indiana Jones and Wonder Woman together,
Oh,
which is a
nice.
pretty cool thing. And they're also saying there's a lot of throwback to Casablanca and all that, so there's a lot of classic cinema that she incorporated in the film.
Nice.
So it should be awesome. So definitely
When is
go
it coming
see it.
out? Because I know they changed
Is
it.
that June 2nd? I think
We were
it's
just talking about this yesterday. She was trying to convince me to be on board with
I
this,
have
and
a
I was
tiny
like,
computer in my hand.
Okay, let's look it up. Who can find it first? I think it's June 2nd. Also, one of the panels that I really loved was it was just one of the ones that
The one he was on.
Wait. There's a picture of Ben up here right now with Cheeseman.
Oh, there we go. There's my
Indy.
Indiana Jones.
That's good.
You're
That's my
Indiana Jones.
Temple Indiana Jones. I actually did a photo shoot with my friend. I wasn't gonna wear Indy to this con, and my friend put an APB out on Facebook. She's like, I'm dressing as Marion from Raiders, and I need one of my Indy cosplayer friends. And my girlfriend posts on it. She's like, Ben, and so I got volunteered by my girlfriend. So I went and took a picture. I did 3 different photo shoots with my friend dressed as Marion, and I was Indy. And she brought the frying pan because
Oh, that's
there's that one
awesome.
scene where she hits the guy with the frying pan. They made her weapons check the frying pan, so she had to have the little thing around it.
of course, sad.
Exactly. The
As
other
a nerd, I'm just going crazy because you're dressed as the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones. So it
Specifically,
doesn't
the Temple
add
of
up.
Doom.
It doesn't work.
right, exactly. I told her I was like, I'm going to be a much younger,
It
more
takes place
attractive-
before.
Good eye.
much younger, more attractive Indiana Jones than who Marion met because.
Was she cosplaying as well? Was she, what's her name in Temple of Doom? There was someone cosplaying.
Well, yeah, there was. I didn't see them. A couple years ago, I took a picture with a group of Temple of Doom cosplayers with
What's the girl?
what's the girl from Temple of Doom?
His girlfriend?
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg's wife.
Willie with Willie.
Right, yeah.
I saw her.
Kate
She was
Capshaw.
walking around with a red dress.
There's a short round, too.
My girlfriend actually does short round, and we did it at LA Comic Con a couple years ago when it was still Kamikaze. And this guy runs up to us and he's like, "You'll like this."
That's the first time I saw you.
Yeah,
That's that one. Yeah.
This guy runs up to us. He's like, "Oh, I got to take a picture. I got to take a picture with you." And he takes a picture with me and my girlfriend at short round. And then
Isn't that a
he's
great
like,
feeling?
He's like, "Thank you so much." And he starts walking off, and he turns around and goes, "Thank you so much, Rick and Glenn," and then walks off.
Oh my God.
I guess that works.
June 2nd. That's when
That's
Wonder
awesome.
Woman debuts. What the panel that I was talking about? Marv Wolfman did a writing panel, and for those who don't know, Marv Wolfman is a legend in DC Comics. He wrote, one of my favorite all-time comic books was the Teen Titans, and so Marv Wolfman, he was just talking for an hour about the best way to write comics, and he started talking about Teen Titans, and one of my favorite characters of all time was Raven from the Teen Titans, and then he just last year, sorry I'm skipping ahead, he did a series called Raven, just all about Raven, and so because of his talk, I've got issue number 3, I'm now on the hunt for the other 5 issues of this series. I couldn't find it this weekend at WonderCon, but Marv Wolfman's just a legend, and just his talking about characters and how characters just kind of drive everything he does. It was pretty inspirational to hear that.
That's awesome.
Oops. What else? Some other panels? Anybody?
Goldbergs. We went to the Goldbergs.
We saw the
Kevin
Goldbergs.
Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith was the moderator.
How was that?
It was really good. It was really funny. They played the new episode that he directed.
Kevin Smith directed an episode?
And the whole premise of the episode was about the 1989 Batman when that came out,
Oh,
and how
nice.
the son is like really excited to see it, and then the grandpa is a fan of the Adam West Batman. So then it's them debating which is the better Batman, and it was really.
And then Kevin Smith directed, right?
Kevin Smith was the director.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, and then it was just a good panel. They just talked about. I guess the history of the show, and the creator was there.
And they brought up the real brother,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was there too to ask a question, which
Yeah.
was pretty cool as well.
I've seen the Goldbergs before. I'm not like a Goldbergs expert, so I don't know everything. I've seen.
But
like,
you're a
maybe,
Kevin
like, 3
Smith
episodes.
expert,
I'm a
so,
Kevin Smith
yeah.
expert, so that was the big reason. I was like, I got to be there for that. So
Yeah.
it was really nice, and I love the 1989 Batman. It's my favorite Batman.
The Goldbergs is my favorite Batman. Have you seen the Goldbergs episode where they it's a tribute to Ferris Bueller?
No,
I'm
I'm sure it's
Oh,
great
yeah.
though.
I've heard that.
They had
was
Charlie
great.
Sheen.
Yes, it's such a great episode.
But another great thing about WonderCon is like a big panel like that, it wasn't too hard to get into. And then
No, yeah.
even like with Warner Brothers, we just showed up like an hour or two before the big one, and we're still able to get in. They're not the camping out.
You didn't
and
have to
other stuff.
camp overnight?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Although I will say, Oh, go ahead.
I was saying full disclosure, I didn't, but because you went an hour ahead of time and I slipped in 20 minutes ahead of time. And what was that show we were
Riverdale.
watching?
It's the Archie thing.
Okay, does anybody love Riverdale?
What's
Let's not talk about
The Archie
Riverdale.
thing.
It was
We'll be
her.
positive.
I
It was a
showed
little
up.
soapy,
Be
but we'll be
positive,
positive.
yeah.
Yeah.
I showed up an hour and a half
I thought
early
it was
for
a Saturday
the.
Night Live skit.
Yeah.
I showed up an hour and a half early for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. panel, and I did not get in.
Yeah, that one was packed
Wow.
out. That one's packed out. That one's always kind of really.
That's one of my shows. So
That should have been in the arena.
yeah.
They did the same thing last year. They did put it in the arena, or the last time they had the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they never put them in like the biggest room, and they always pack it. I think that's intentional though. And what about the Nerdist? We went to the Nerdist panel.
Yeah, the Nerdist was cool as well.
How's that?
That was so funny. Like
Yeah.
at the end when they had the two guys that were showing like here's our outtakes, and who's the guy with the long hair? Because science. And
Because science guy.
Well, they had each other as an April Fool's joke, kind of host each other's shows, pretending to be each other and stuff, and just making everybody look like an ass or whatever.
I know you
So
just can't.
He wore a wig to look like the one guy.
That was just so funny. Our friend Thomas Parham, who's a
Kyle, I think, was his name.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Thomas Parham, who guest hosts in our show, he had a panel called "Everybody's a Critic in the Online World of everybody's online criticizing everybody," and it was really a good panel. And the thing it's kind of interesting is, did I just hear a buzzer or something? What was that?
I think that's
Someone's popcorn's ready.
Oh, okay. So it's popcorns. But it was about how online fandoms have become so divisive and just so angry towards each other and
That's very
especially
true.
in the Walking Dead family. That's weird.
well, like
It's dumb.
they had-
Just like what you like, and if you don't like it, don't do anything about it. Like, why would you waste your time on something you don't like, right? I mean,
It's a lot of jealousy. Like if your ship doesn't sail, like people get resentful of the other ships and things I've seen. Like we're just, I don't know.
There's a bunch of weird camps in
Yeah.
that whole community about like plot lines that I've never even like considered before. They get mad at each other.
And I've never
It's
understood.
insane.
And it's these people, the nameless people online. They walk into an online room, throw a grenade, just trying to make everybody so
Pretty
angry,
much.
and they go out and they just make everybody feel terrible. And they had a female journalist on there was talking about how it was her job. She was reporting for some website, and she had to report that Ben Affleck had been chosen as Batman. Obviously, there was a lot of differences of opinion in that. And she said, in her opinion, she said in her kind of things that she goes, you know what, wasn't my choice, but why do I get behind him? She received death threats.
What?
And
Really?
And just the most vile things just because she reported this news. I'm like, what?
I'm
so
sorry, but Ben
stupid.
Affleck is great as Batman. He's actually my favorite now.
Really?
Great as
He
Batman.
edged out Keaton for me.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna get.
Well, they had the same.
about?
They had the same.
to be better than Bale?
They had the same response when Michael Keaton was picked as Batman. They're like, the comedian to play Batman? No, because he was a stand-up comedian.
So nobody else loves Val Kilmer as Batman? Is
Oh
it just
God,
me?
no. I mean,
Clooney is number one in my book for sure.
Even Clooney doesn't
Avery's
think he's
on
number
Batman.
one.
So, okay, just to move it along now, because surprisingly we're running out of time. So one of my favorite panels was I was a panelist this time, and that's
Look at
never
that.
happened
You should have
before.
had that up there the whole time.
Here, I'm gonna put this right here. So, full-time. How to have a full? What was it?
He can never even say the panel that
It's called. What's the name of this panel? No, it's how to have a full-time creative career on a part-time schedule.
It's like saying the Comic-Con
I can
prep
never say
show,
that.
like our show name.
is
Yeah.
Comic-Con.
The Comic-Con prep show.
I can't even say. But anyways, a full-time creative career and a part-time schedule. If you guys were not able to, it was a packed house, which I was surprised about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was so great. Those guys were, and we got a lot of people coming up to us later. Not because of me, but that it's full of a bunch of people that have, like Krypton radio guy, people that write comic books, people that are on TV shows, just saying, you know what? When you are having to work your full-time job, like most of us do, but you want to break into this creative career that you want that to be your full-time job, here are some tips and some advice and people to help you along. 5 minutes? Are you crazy? Okay, so
Just so much stuff. So much stuff to talk about.
I like how in the middle of it he's just like, and then you want to 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So, anyways.
And we can probably talk about what we got as we're
Go
closing,
to
too.
our website and find out about the stuff that we love. We love so much stuff. Jake, I want to know a couple of things. We do have to talk about Walking Dead though. Show us a couple
Real
of
quick,
things
I'll
that
show
you
you
found.
a couple pics I picked up at the WonderCon. I'm a big fan of the Star Wars, the Hasbro Black Series action figures, so I had to pick up the
Nice.
Princess Leia, and I actually got a Han Solo.
Oh, nice.
We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
And there's 2 different hats for the Princess Leia,
Tell us
by the
about
way.
the
Real quick, yeah. This is actually the updated head sculpt they made. The first one they did looked nothing like Carrie Fisher at all. The fans were like, "Are you serious? This is awful." So then Hasbro even admitted, like, "Okay, we messed up. We're gonna do a good one." And Luke took a picture of. I took a picture of both. They had actually both at different vendors for sale, and you could see like the difference. This is the good one. This is the one that looks like Carrie Fisher.
Less rosy cheeks.
Yeah.
What's the other thing? You walked across. Since we're in Anaheim, you walked across the street to Disneyland.
Yeah, I picked up some droids. I love droids, so I had to pick this up. when
Some
we were
people
at
would
Disney
argue
World.
that's not Comic-Con or WonderCon related, but I
Right.
think it is because of the location of where
Right.
they had it.
It
Luke,
was
what did you
right
get?
next to it.
Luke.
Yeah, so I grew up not really reading comics. Yeah, I'm on the show. It doesn't make sense. But I watched a lot of
Weirdo.
movies, TV shows, and all that. So I had Jake help me pick out my first round, and then our friend Greg actually pick out some shorter. So I got the Killing Joke. Jake helped me
You wanted
pick
to know,
out that one.
what are good
Yeah.
like starting off points for Batman.
And
These
Luke
are
loves Batman,
definitely
so this
two-
is-
And I love Batman, so it's a good. And what I even
Big
love
ones.
more than that Batman is the old Batman,
Oh, wow.
kind of like the
Batman
TV show we we're talking about
66.
Goldberg. So I got those, and there's actually a comic on an episode they wrote for Two-Face, never filmed, so they turned it into a comic. Got some Justice League, got a Wolverine one. Actually, you haven't seen that yet. This is the one they got. Avengers versus Justice League. Avengers with, Ghost Rider.
Which
and-
book number is that Avengers Justice League?
Oh, you're throwing up.
Where's that at? I'm not used to reading.
Jay, can you help him?
And then Spider-Man. So.
All right, and this is what I got because I am such a fan of the new show Legion. Do you guys watch Legion on television?
yet.
So Sprayer, the guy who wrote Marvel says it's
the
not
other
based on X-Men Legacy, just because I want to find out a little bit more about the show. So that's what I got. Plus that Raven. Anything else that we got here, we will put it on the website. Jake's going to be doing some unboxing videos for what he showed up with. Listen, WonderCon was awesome this year. WonderCon was great. Hopefully they have it back in Anaheim next year. I think it's the best location for it.
I think
But
they intend to.
Before we end the night, last night was the Walking Dead season finale. I want to ask you guys right up front, what did you think?
Oh, that was fantastic.
I loved it.
Yeah?
I thought it was the episode that the fans needed emotionally, basically, from the entire
Oh
year.
my God, Sasha and Abraham almost made me cry.
Oh my
And
gosh,
I
that
don't
was-
cry. I don't. Like, it's emotional. It was great. It was a lot of action. It had like everything.
What did you think about the moment when Carl's about to have his brains bashed out by Lucille?
Yeah. Actually, that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. I loved the look on Rick's face when he just stares into Negan's eyes and basically tells him to go like F himself.
Yep.
Like, but using the same words.
told you. Not today.
Yeah.
Not tomorrow.
exact
Just a
same
recap.
line.
It's the exact same
The
line.
exact
Recap the
same
first
line
episode.
from the first episode,
Yep.
only now he like meant it, and the demeanor was completely different, and it was so satisfying because
That
you
he
just like
wasn't as-
see him get so pissed.
He wasn't as afraid this time and destroyed.
No, yeah, he just kind of let go. It was like, well, I fought back last time, and the result was still the same, and
Yeah.
his friend still got killed. So now we're going to try a different approach, and
Yeah.
it worked out
Yep.
because a tiger showed up.
Yep.
Jay.
Exactly.
We missed the premiere last night because we were in Disneyland, so we didn't get to see it. So I watched it this morning. She was still like half asleep like in the bed, so I had it on the phone with my headphones on, and I was watching it. And then the moment the tiger,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Shiva.
Shiva.
When Shiva first struck, I was like, yeah.
That's
Like,
basically
yelled
what I
at.
did too. Yeah,
And she's like, what's going on?
so satisfying on so many different
Whoa.
levels.
One of my favorite moments, though, was when Negan saw Maggie, and he goes, what was he? The widower! And I thought she was a widow, but she's here with guns ablazing. I just thought that was so great. I mean,
Yeah, there was a whole lot of moments in the episode that were basically like Negan realizing that he didn't have the
Yeah.
control that he kind of like thought that he had.
Yeah.
You know, he thought Sasha was going to be.
I just like
On
that he
his
wanted to
team.
bargain with her. Like, I've never seen him have that reaction with anyone. Like, he just was just willing to mostly bend to everything that she wanted to do. Almost, it was amazing.
talking about Sasha?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was gonna kill 3 people, and he, okay, I'll just do the one.
Okay, spoiler
Especially
alert,
as,
spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Beach balls,
Spoiler
like
alert.
balls, or what did
What
they
is
say?
ball size
Beach
lady
ball,
nuts.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? What's the beach ball size?
Beach ball sized lady nuts.
Lady nuts. Yep.
I want that
Oh
shirt.
my gosh, that's the T-shirt that's gonna be. But like, it's very sad to see Sasha go. She was such a good character. What?
I watched the episode twice. I watched it once by myself, and then I watched it with you guys earlier. And it's so crazy when you watch the episode the second time. You know, the first shot of the episode is Sasha in the you don't know at the time, but she's in the coffin, and then it's her listening to the music, and then you see the headphones fall off and her just kind of like do that.
Yeah.
That's the moment she dies.
Yep.
And that's the first shot of the episode.
Yep.
When you first see it, you're like, you have no idea what's
It's
going
so
on.
strong, though.
So then as I watched the second time, I'm like, that's it. And then the storyline's jumping all around, you know?
The way they told it was so beautiful,
really-
too. And I love that they brought the character of Abraham back for her to kind of mentally say goodbye to.
I like that they brought up Glenn too. I mean, I was one of the fans that was really upset with the way that Glenn died.
Yep.
I was less bothered by Abraham's death. That gurgly voice thing that went on with Glenn was like just super disturbing to me.
Oh, jeez.
So I was
You
waiting
mean
for
Farrah
them to
Fawcett?
do. So, yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Dies the same day as Michael Jackson? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, that's exactly what happened. Remember? Oh,
Exactly.
anyways.
Yeah. I was waiting for them to just kind of like, you know, wrap it up a little bit nicer and give like a better purpose like for that death, and I felt like they did a good job doing
Especially
that last night with the watch. So.
The voiceover at the end when Maggie is saying
Exactly.
Glenn started at the very beginning when he saved Rick.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
continued on to this moment. That was just so touching, and that was a great way to send off.
And noticing that she still has the watch, which we like thought
Oh,
she'd
thank
given
God
away
that-
to Enid.
No, she did give it away to Enid. I'm guessing
So,
Enid gave it back. Like, Maggie, you might want to rethink this.
Like Maggie, this is a bad idea.
It was a great
Give it
ending.
back.
It's a great ending because it shows Maggie kind of taking really like the leadership position. It's like she's gonna be like the new Rick, you know what I mean?
That's so strange
It
though,
is,
because like her pregnancy's in danger. Like, why is she out fighting and shooting people, running around? Like, that just seemed kind of strange.
Well, remember
Because she's awesome.
It's a valid point.
She's awesome. She's the one who stood up when Rick could not. She's been the strength throughout the moment
very true.
that they lost Glenn. She stands up. She goes, "We got to kill him. We got
Yeah,
to
we have to
fight.
fight them,
We
yeah.
got to fight them." And everybody else was like shell shocked. Rick, it took him a while. The thing that was so great about tonight's episode was you saw Morgan show up. Carol showed up with the cavalry.
Man,
That's
the AK-47, yeah. I really wanted to see that. I liked that when Morgan showed up, his like introduction into it was like him like stabbing somebody in the face with a spear, and then he like makes eye contact with Rick, and they have like
They
a
just,
nod,
like,
like, yeah, I'll kill people for you.
That was it. I know it was a little bitty
know?
simple, like
Just-
not done.
I'm over the no killing thing. Like,
All right, guys, we do have to wrap up tonight, but I have one last question. What is going to be the big cosplay of the summer from Walking Dead?
I think without a doubt it's got to be Winslow, the spiked walker that was in the pit.
Remember the guy in the pit with "I think you're right."
I mean, there's already people that have like done it all over the internet, and it's so elaborate and just like crazy looking. It looks so hot and uncomfortable though.
Or even like the what do they call it? The tall lady, the
Ramones lady.
Ramones lady. They dress like
Jadis.
yes, Jadis.
I saw a guy at
Oh,
WonderCon
God.
who had the Easy Street Daryl, like the sweatsuit with the A.
Oh, did you really?
That's
They were,
awesome.
they were playing Easy Street. That
Were they
was like stuck in my head all day.
God, how dare they?
All right, thank you everybody for tuning in this week to the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show. Got out. Thank you so much for showing
being-
up this
thanks
this
for
week,
having
guys.
us.
Jill and
Thanks for having
Brandon and Jake all the way from Ohio. We hope to see you guys at all the conventions this summer and come back anytime. All right.
For sure.
All right, and invite us to that Chris Hardwick wedding that's going to be going on for you guys soon. All right. All right, we'll talk to you guys
Everybody's on board.
soon. All right, bye-bye. Good night, guys. Make sure you subscribe.
Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network. We would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.
All right, here we go. Okay, 1,